Hi, I'm Daniel Madison. Thanks for being here. I really do appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me when maybe you've got better things to do. This morning I woke up to some good news. The Madison Trawlers playing cards have officially sold out, so to everybody who picked some up, thanks. The Madison Trawlers playing cards, for those people who don't know about them, I've not been talking about them too much intentionally for reasons I mentioned in a few videos back to do with production delays that happened on the Madison playing cards. I simply didn't want to repeat that history with the Trawlers, so I've not been talking about them. When I checked last week to find out that there were only 100 decks left, to my surprise, I thought I'd give them that last push. So I went to my friends at Cardify.com. Now if you don't know Cardify.com, go check them out. Give them a follow. They're going to be a big part of my future when it comes to promoting playing cards, and they're going to be sharing some secrets from me and from my very world of playing cards, so make sure you follow those guys, make sure you stay close to them. They sold out before I've even had a chance to announce the official release date, which I will be announcing soon. They are on the way to the warehouse, but I don't want to announce them or any shipping dates or anything until I have them in my hands, which will be very soon. So stay tuned, stay close to find out when they're going to be shipping. Now what's exciting about this, there's a few things. For one, I'll have the Madison Trawlers, so I'll be able to make these trailers that I've been thinking of for the past 6 months in my head, and in the style of deal and how to cheat cards for those people who like and appreciate watching gambling, card cheating demonstrations. Can't wait to get the Trawlers for that very reason. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the Trawlers still until I've got them in my hands so that I can make a video showing everything about them. This now allows me to move on to the Charlie Madison playing cards, which I've been so eager to talk about and share with you guys. Charlie Madison's first deck. Yes, there are two versions. The white version is the main one. The black one is going to be a very limited special edition. Once again, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but through excitement that I can't contain, me and Charlie are going to be talking about them a lot. Make sure you follow Charlie on Instagram if you know what's good for you. He's going to be talking about the Charlie Madison playing cards much more than I am, and he's going to be doing quite a lot of live streaming. I won't say too much about that just yet. This isn't why I wanted to make this video today. I didn't want to talk about Charlie Madison playing cards. I did want to mention the Trawlers, and I probably spoke about them too much by this point, but it's okay. Yesterday I made a video called Advice for Magicians, and the feedback, the response, the amount of people it's reached and helped, I'm really happy and overwhelmed that I've been able to connect with people in that way and help people with my stories and my advice. I spoke about one of my tricks, how to get bookings as a professional magician. In this video I want to talk more about how to negotiate and how to get a good price and how to get paid well as a professional working magician. It's another trick, it's another thing that I did time and time again that worked really well and got me paid more money than I would have done if I hadn't have done this trick. So to talk about this, let's go to the sunroom, get a little bit more serious. Let's go, Charlie. So yesterday I spoke about how I used to get bookings from time to time. One of the tricks I used to get bookings as a working professional magician, and I mentioned the value, the idea of negotiating. Now for creative people and for artists, it's often very difficult to discuss money and to negotiate and to put a value on your own work, because you have to think highly of yourself, and at the same time when it comes to money you can't let the amount of money that you make be the judgment of how good you are, because you might do a gig, a booking, you might get booked for a wedding and they pay you 50 quid, $50 for 2 hours. Now to me that's ridiculous. It's way too little. It's not good enough. But each gig and each event, each booking that you get, they're all going to be different. They all have to be judged on their own merits. So there's never going to be a specific number. There's never going to be the same value for each gig, for each booking. At least that's what I found. Yes, you can aim for one specific amount, one flat rate, regardless of anything. And I've seen a lot of magicians do this, but I've also seen a lot of magicians be turned down for gigs, or heard a lot of stories of how magicians struggle to get bookings, and that's one of the main causes, the idea of not being able to negotiate or change your price. Because the client, usually if the client's found you online or found you by their own means, it's usually through word of mouth. These days it's going to be online, and usually they're just going to go to Google and search, magician in my area. They're going to search the area, they're going to search for, if it's for a wedding, they're going to type the obvious, wedding magician in my area. So for me, wedding magician in Leeds. And they're looking for a few different things. One, that magician needs to be close to the gig for reliability. Two, they have to appear good, they have to have a good appearance. We're not necessarily talking about body shape, body image, the way your face looks. There's some ugly magicians out there, man, and they're the best working magicians. So there's nothing to be said about image. I'm talking about presentation. Now, you might be on your site with your belly hanging out, with your shirt half open, with a stain on your shoulder and your hair not done. You're not going to get bookings. You need to look like somebody who can be booked. You need to look pleasant. You need to look like somebody who can be booked for a wedding. But we end up talking about this, or breaching over into this subject and this topic about discrimination these days, certainly compared to when I started. Now these days, the magicians that you see getting booked for weddings are covered in tattoos, and they turn up not in a suit but in a black t-shirt and a cap. And I think that's amazing. I think that's fantastic for magic as an art form, and especially for the way that magic is going to be perceived and remembered by the general public and by people who are looking to book magicians. It used to be, you said the word magician and people would get this idea in their head of top hat, magic wand, the suit. These days it's changed, and that's really good. You need to have that image, so when they find you, that you need to be local, you need to have the image, you need to be a professional magician. And they're only going to find that out through word of mouth or through your platform, which would be your website, I guess. Now, I don't want to go off into a tangent on a different topic, but those are just a few things to bear in mind. Your location for when people are looking for you. I have friends who live further north of England than I do, who their websites say that they live in London because that's where all the bookings are. So when they get booked, they travel all the way down to London for the booking because it's worth the money. Whereas if they said, oh yeah, I live in Scotland, they're not going to get booked in London. But magicians are willing to do all that. You will know if you're a magician watching. We're willing to travel for the gig. We're willing to do what it takes for the job. So those few things are fairly easy. The presentation, the cool looking website, the fact that you've done it before, you're not a newcomer, you're a professional. Let's get back to the point I was making about negotiations, value, about money. Now you can stick the value on the website that you have. If you have a remarkable looking website that looks like a professional magician, and it looks like a legitimate professional company, then I guess you can start on a higher price. But that's not where I want to start with this topic. That's not where I want to go. I want to go to how you figure out what your value is, how you put a value on yourself as a professional working magician, especially when it comes to getting booked, getting gigs, working as a professional for a living. So one of the tricks that I wanted to share with you that I used to do to figure out what value and what price I could put on myself as a magician and on my art, on my magic, way back when I was getting gigs. It's a very, very simple trick. Back then, the yellow pages existed. Now it's just the internet. But back then, I'd have the yellow pages. Not a lot of magicians were on the internet. What I would do, I would call up magicians that I would find in the yellow pages or online. I would call up professional magicians and pretend to be somebody else. Pretend that I was having a wedding. Oh, yo, is that Magical Jonathan? Hi man, how are you doing, mate? I'd like to book you for a wedding that I'm having. How much would you charge for 2 hours of close-up magic in the local area? And I do that with 5 or 6 different magicians, either ones that I found online or in the Yellow Pages, and you'd find the value and the price changed per magician. And I would choose the medium. I would go right in the middle of either end, and that would be my value. So ideally you want to undercut the most professional looking guy, which is quite dirty, but you want to be in the price range that people can afford. And the only way you're going to find out what people can afford is by looking at the industry that's available to them. So me ringing all the magicians in the local area, asking how much they cost, how much they charge, that tells me what everybody who wants to book a magician, they know what the value is already, because they would have done the same thing. So if they're going to call up Magical Jonathan, and he knows because he's been in the game for a while, and he says £200 for £100 an hour, and then they call me before I've done the research, and I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't done the research. I'm nervous, I'm an artist, I can't negotiate, I'm not into that, I'm a creative, I'm not designed for this kind of stuff. Then I say, oh yeah, for 2 hours I'll do that easy, I'll do that for 2,000. They're gonna hang up and they're not gonna book you. Knowing that information beforehand, knowing what prices they've been looking at before they get to you, or knowing the area that you're in, knowing the industry around you, how much they're charging, gives you your value. Now this doesn't apply to everybody, but it certainly applies to the majority who are kind of starting out, who are in this position, who don't quite know what to do when it comes to negotiation, and don't know quite how to find price. So that's all I do. A very simple trick. I'd ring up all the magicians in my area at least once every 6 months to find out if their prices have changed, and I base my price on theirs. Obviously that changes, and it will change the more professional you become, and the more you start getting bookings from word of mouth and from handing your business card out at events. But it's just a nice little tip that you might want to try before you get to that point. If you're starting out, if you're not sure how much to charge. It worked for me, it's worked for a lot of students of mine and a lot of friends who I've given that advice to, so maybe it can work for you too. So let me know if this advice has been useful in the comment section. Maybe I'll do more of these videos, and if there's a subject that you want me to talk about or give my opinion on, or tell you my story from experience, from being a professional magician, let me know in the comment section. I'd be happy to share my knowledge with you. Giving is receiving. I get so much back in return for giving and sharing, knowing that I'm helping people, and if I've helped one person watching this video, then great success. Let's go back to the office, back to the den, so we can wrap this video up. So thank you if you're still here, and thanks for listening. I think I'll keep doing this. I'll keep sharing these bits of advice and these bits of information from my history, from my experience. I guess not just for my own benefit, but for knowing that there's going to be at least one person out there listening who takes something from this, which is the best part of it for me. And I'll keep doing this for as long as I've got, I guess. Now the Charlie Madison playing cards are on my website right now. You can reserve some. The same with the Madisonist playing cards with these and the trawlers. They're limited, they're never going to be reprinted. And once they're gone, I can finally move on and make the huge announcement that's going to be taking place in 2019. Cannot wait, but I cannot say a thing about it. I'm sure Charlie might be giving a few teasers sooner, so go give him a follow. I'm Daniel Madison. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time. I do appreciate it. See you next time.